Hello, everyone, and welcome out to episode 382 of The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky, a podcast where I talk a bunch of geeky stuff, some good, some bad, but all of it definitely geeky. And we're getting good, bad, and geeky a little bit live in this episode. For you time travelers out there, this was recorded August 4th, 2018 at the West Grandview Fringe Festival at Jimmy V's in Grandview, Ohio. And I want to thank everyone who came out. We actually had a decent crowd that come out to see the show. Thank you guys so much. It was so much fun, and it was such a blast. I'm hoping to do it again next year. Now, I will probably say this later in the episode too, but remember to check out Erik Sternberger's website. He is our guest for the episode, and he did me a solid. I forgot to print out rules for the drinking game because, guys, I did my own drinking game, the good, the bad, and the geeky drinking game. And guys, I don't know how you guys stay sober if you play this at home. This is literally us playing for every time I mess up. Maybe next time we'll do something like we'll have an official person that will be on mic that will sit there and say, drink, that kind of thing. So there's a record of it so that you can see how many times you're drinking at home. But please check out www.eriksternberger.com. That's eriksternberger.com. I'm sorry, eriksternberger.com. Wow, see, you've already taken a drink. So if you're drinking along at home, you're already taking like 4 drinks right here in the intro. One thing we do not talk about, though, is our sponsors in the intro. So, we're recording this intro separate. Our official sponsor of the show is Audible. With over 200,000 titles to choose from, you get a 30-day membership free with a book to get you started. After that, you get 1 credit a month, good for any book regardless of price. Ad-free premium audio that you can listen to offline, no interruptions, and you own your library, which I think some people get a little nervous about that. So say you're a member for 3 months and you get 3 books plus whatever else you buy on top of that. You keep that. That is yours to keep. So say money gets tight because right now it's August. Christmas is coming up here in the next few months and you want to save money for Christmas. So you cancel it for the meantime to join it back later. It's pretty great. You own all those books. They're all yours. Now, if when you are a member, say you don't love a book, you can swap it out for free anytime. And you get 30% off an exclusive member-only savings. See, you would have taken a drink right there, by the way, people. A member-only savings. If you're interested, it's really easy to do. All you got to do is have an Amazon account. And if you are one of the people living under a rock that does not have an Amazon account, well, then get one. Go to Amazon.com, or you can go to get the free trial at audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky. Choose your first book free and download the Audible app and start enjoying your new audiobook. And last but not least, we're proud members of the It's All Been Done Presents Network. And speaking of the network, do you have a vague remembrance of the Bare Naked Ladies? Well, Evan and Saker hazily stumble through every single Bare Naked Ladies song 1 week at a time. See what we did there? From the first album to the last, driving themselves crazy along the way. Do you know anything about B&L? That's probably more than they do. Strap in for pet theories about vampires, retirement homes, murders, and more with It's All Been Done, a Bare Naked Ladies podcast. Check them out, along with all our other programs at iabdpresents.com, and support us at patreon.com/IABD. Now, guys, what's really cool about this episode is that we are at the West Grandview Fringe Festival 2018. We have a really nice crowd, and we talk about the movie Mission Impossible Fallout. And my guest is Erik, and we do a bunch of fun stuff. Some of it which you'll hear in the intro, or this is the intro. Sorry, you'll hear it in the show itself. So I'm going to stop talking and let the show start. I really suck at this. See, you should be like taking tons of drinks right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome out to the West Grandview Fringe Festival 2018. I am Nick Argenbright, and my guest this evening for the Good, the Bad, and the Geeky is...
Not Nick Argenbright.
That's right, that's correct. You are not Nick Argenbright.
It's true.
I'm just going to call you Not an A for the rest.
Fair enough.
No, this is Erik Sternberger. You can check out his website at eriksternberger.com. I dare not pronounce that incorrectly just yet.
And the reason why is that for those who've not seen or heard my podcast before, I fuck up a lot of words. I go on weird rants. So we're playing a drinking game today. And I've never done this. This will probably go very well or very poorly. If you would like instructions to play along.
I'll distribute them.
Oh, yeah, please do. Eric will be walking around with them. But I'll just go over some of them with you. And there's not a lot of finish your drinks on because you might get fucked up with the others. If I can't pronounce a word, an actor's name, or just generally fuck up something, take a sip. If I mention the Ninja Turtles at all, take a drink. If I mention my normal co-host Jim, Nathan, or John, and obviously they're not here, take a drink. If, spoiler alert, I mention a death of a major character from the last Star Wars movie or The Last Jedi, definitely take a drink. If I mention that my wife or her opinion on something, take a drink. If I mention any of the DC movies that aren't Wonder Woman and how bad they are, take a drink. If I mention Rocky and Bullwinkle, take a drink. These last two are kind of tied together, which is we go on weird tangents and rants that somehow get back around to what we're talking about. And I call that inceptioning the conversation. So if I say that, take a drink. And if I actually do that, so we're going to talk about Mission Impossible Fallout today, or the Mission Impossible movies. If I somehow go, oh yeah, some other, like Jerry Maguire makes me think of this, I don't know why, well, Tom Cruise maybe, but that would be one where you take a drink. And then if I say inception of the conversation, you take a drink. And then the only time you'd finish your drink, which I don't think I'll do these, but just in case I do, dear God, help us all. If I go 3, 2, 1, because usually it means I fucked up and it's an editing thing.
Actually, it says if anyone does, so I could do
anyone.
that.
Oh, no, okay, that's a correction. If I say 3, 2, 1, oh, good
Nick
catch,
will not let
thank
me have
you.
the power.
If I rant about George Lucas, or if I give a major spoiler from a movie, and I don't give a spoiler alert on that. So, and speaking of spoilers, I think it's important to, the general guise of this podcast is because we talk about anything and everything. We are going to talk about Mission Impossible and Mission Impossible Fallout.
I thought I went and saw Death of a Nation last night. I thought we were doing that.
Oh, no,
You
sorry.
son of a bitch.
Damn
I
it.
sat through that fucking thing.
Damn it. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. But we might spoil things, so please be wary of that.
I would never see that movie.
Oh, and then the last half of the show, again, this is where it will all hopefully tee up to greatness or probably horribleness, is there was a thing that started on social media a few weeks ago where cast a movie with all Muppet characters, but you keep one human actor. And we're going to do The Last Jedi, Star Wars.
Okay.
That's on topic, so I'm not taking a drink for that one.
Sure.
And then one of the things that I have a reading for is Jaws, where you keep Quint, but you... So we're going to be doing probably very bad Muppet impersonations. We'll be taking maybe some of your suggestions. We'll read quotes.
I like it.
So it could be very, very...
I would love to see it like a reverse version of that with Mission Impossible with one Muppet. And as much as I love Tom Cruise in these movies, because what would they be without him? Just a Tom Cruise Muppet running his ass off.
A Tom Cruise
all
Muppet?
across rooftops.
I would like to
amazing.
see Grover as Ethan Hunt.
Right.
Red light, green light.
And just running his just across the rooftops.
Yeah, and the little you can see the little wire as he dangles back and forth. Mission Impossible Fallout is the 6th movie of the franchise. And this was echoed earlier today from, I think, Culture Papagogo when they discussed a little bit of the first movie.
Okay.
I almost screamed that out, which is my favorite moment. Your mom said something about where the fish tank exploded, but I love that too because he looks at Kittredge, he's like, red light, green light.
How much water was in that fish tank?
A lot of water. A lot of. Yeah, that's completely what we're talking about. But yeah, so that's one of my favorite.
It's one of the things that, and I know a couple of guys from I think Birth Movies Death were talking about it. Is like this is one of the few franchises right now that hasn't gone toxic.
Yes, which that's very very sad and very true.
Sad. Like so many of these like fandoms have gone toxic lately, and
they've almost all gone toxic.
I know. Like for somehow Mission Impossible is like one of the few that's like people just like enjoy.
Well, it's like I think you already know that Tom Cruise is crazy.
Yeah, we accept that.
Yeah, and he might jump on a couch occasionally, and he karate chops the air, but it makes him scientifically run faster.
Look, there's times where I question whether I should get down on the floor to play with my dog because I don't know if I'm going to get up. And at his age, while he can run, fuck it, Hail Xenu, or whatever it takes. I am in.
Yeah, I mean, it does. Each one keeps getting better and better. He keeps looking better and better for his age, and it's kind of and what's also interesting too is that if you had to ask me, I think this is the other statement that was made earlier today was, if you had to guess that 20 years later we'd be talking Mission Impossible, I'd be kind of going like, with a new cast maybe.
Yeah.
But
Keep
not
rotating it out.
Not with Tom Cruise still kicking along.
Nope. Although there is only one member from the current cast I would follow if they decided to continue without Tom Cruise.
And who would
There's
that
one person that would have to be the lead.
Ving Rhames?
Nah, fuck that.
No.
Rebecca Ferguson.
Wait. What?
Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh, Rebecca Ferguson.
I would love, even if they're going to continue without Tom Cruise, in my opinion, it has to be. I would follow a Rebecca spinoff for sure.
Who does she play? She played
Ilsa.
The Ilsa. Okay, I'll take a drink.
Nice, I got him. Yeah, Ilsa.
Ilsa. Okay.
Who she was 7 months pregnant making this movie.
What?
7 months pregnant.
She does a lot of shit in this movie.
She does a lot of shit, but she's also wearing a motorcycle helmet for a lot of that shit.
So you can't see her face, yeah.
Yep. And there's a lot of close-ups of her flipping up the lid of her motorcycle helmet and firing a gun, where you only see the bust and above.
Yeah, okay. So with Mission Impossible, I guess we should point out, if you've not seen all the films, the first one, the goal was, it's like a director and Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise clearly wanted to produce his own.
Casey Wagner Productions, I think.
Yeah, I think his own like thing.
Yeah,
and he wanted to team up with directors for them.
Right, and so Brian De Palma did the first one.
Yep.
I like the first one a lot.
That's great.
It still mindfucks me to some unimaginable degree, because I still try to pay attention to how De Palma shot that to figure out like when the switch off happens, and I can never figure it off. And also, I just like Janae Reno being Janae Reno. I mean, he's awesome.
That's true.
Even though he's sadly the bad guy, but I mean, there's so many things going on in that movie.
And I love too. Like, at the time, I remember people saying like, "Oh, this movie's so complicated." Like, it's not complicated if you watch it a second time.
Well,
it's all there.
It's complicated for me because here's the thing. I get completely what happens in it, but I'm just trying to see when the trade-off happens.
Okay.
And every time it's like a magic trick. You snap over here, and I pull the cards out over here.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at, I'm looking at Max, but someone is moving in the background. And I think at one point I did go, okay, I saw it, where the switch off between Hunt and Jim happened.
You're able to handle all the close-up magic in Ant-Man.
I am. That would be kind of a drink situation.
That would be a drink situation.
Well done.
I had to pimp you for one.
But yeah, so then John Woo did the second one.
Yeah.
Not a good movie.
And it's one of those things where it's a cheesy, fun movie, but it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know, weirdly enough, it's kind of like The Outlier, just like maybe Tokyo Drift is for the Fast and Furious franchise. Which actually, let's take it back. There's the only other franchise that has not gone toxic for some weird reason.
Not yet, but it might here soon.
Well, I don't know if it can. It's so
TI.
based on machismo that can it go toxic?
Well,
I mean,
we are Groot. I don't know. That's a valid point.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, I'm waiting for it too, because I really do think people are going to take sides of it versus the Rock versus TI thing, because, or is
TI?
it TI? Is it?
No, it is not. So drink.
Who?
Vin Diesel?
No,
Well, The Rock and Vin Diesel got into it, but
there was someone else. Was it? Who's the former rapper? He's in Fast and Furious.
Tyrese.
It's Tyrese. Dear God.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I mean, Tyrese counts in that feud as much as he counts in the movies. Let's be honest. I'm just saying. So, and I say that with love. But yeah, I mean, I feel like
we've inceptioned a bit.
Yeah, we have. Like the John Woo one is it's a John Woo movie. It's not. I don't know if it's really a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Like, there are things that happen in it. Like, they do the whole typical, this is your mission if you choose to accept it.
Yeah.
This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Anthony Hopkins just shows up and is like, I'm Anthony Hopkins.
Well, and that was dead on, by the way. There's also, I recently did a series rewatch of it, and there is so much bad background music in that one, like, and not even
And that's
just
before
like
you get to Limp Bizkit.
And not even the new metal bullshit, but even just like there's that Hong Kong cinema John Woo of the time, really terrible, like underscoring music that's just so obvious.
I just thought the only thing that was really cool was the fight scene in the sand, but it took us how long to get to that?
Yeah, it took us a long time.
And then it got stupid when they got on the motorcycles again in the sand.
Tom Cruise's hair was pretty good in that movie, though.
He had the Magnolia hair still, which was weird. Which is, if you've not seen Magnolia, Tom Cruise had like long flowing like Interview with the Vampire Luis Brad Pitt hair, not like Lestat hair, and so it was just kind of. And
he had the half pulled back ponytail like in the back of half the hair, like the of the time man bun.
But I think that was also the first movie too that he really started doing the stunts.
Yeah,
like because he did the stunts in the first movie, but I'm talking about like he did like. He's not really tied up on anything, and he's like on the fucking rock. Because the opening of that movie, he's on the cliffside, and
Well, I think that first movie was like noir with stunts. The second one was stunts without a plot.
Yeah, and then you get to the third one where J.J. Abrams is just like maybe you should throw plot, like continuity in there, like maybe reoccurring. Well, maybe at the time they didn't know, but like maybe some more likable characters because you kind of nuked your team in the first movie, and like okay, I will say this: Kittredge has not come back in any of them. I want Kittredge to return.
Yeah, Kittredge should have.
Kittredge should come back. I don't give a fuck about.
He was a good foil.
He was, and like that would be really cool because Ving Rhames. You said this was it on Twitter? Ving Rhames does nothing in all the movies. Like how did you phrase it? He puts it in his contract to do the least physical activity.
He basically stays in the van.
He stays in the van the whole time, but like even in shots where there's action scenes, it looks like he doesn't move. He just stands perfectly still because there's an action scene with him at the beginning of Fallout, and like he just doesn't look like he moves, and then it's a wide shot. So it's like, is that really him falling? You don't know.
No, but like, I guess once we get into 3, when JJ starts putting like a bit more like the interesting, I don't know, the aliasness of it.
Yes,
to a point.
They bring the wife in.
He starts bringing in the double crosses and.
Right. Because the first one had the double cross. Second one, there was no real double cross. It was just.
Yeah, it was pretty much straight ahead. There was no. Well, that's actually one of the only ones where the bad guy doesn't end up being an American.
Yeah.
Was it 3 out of the 6, or 4 out of the 6? The bad guy actually ends up being American.
Yeah, because it was. Yeah, because the last 2, it's been the British guy.
Right. Although it was also Henry Cavill.
Yes. So Henry, and his amazing mustachio mustache,
which Nick and I didn't shave for the show, just in solidarity.
Yeah, we did not.
Nope.
And that's what created Mustache Gate, which apparently is still a thing.
Yeah, which I love. McQuarrie came out and commented on that this week.
Who?
So the director.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
McQuarrie. Okay, Christopher McQuarrie. He's a screenwriter and now director.
Yeah, and he was Cruise's go-to screenwriter, who's ghostwriting a lot of stuff for a while.
Really?
So that's like he came in and did like Valkyrie and several other.
Valkyrie's a good movie. It holds up well.
Yeah, he was kind of Cruise's go-to screenwriter to come in and fix the scripts.
Yeah.
Of a lot of the movies he was in.
Yeah.
And then they just decided to let him direct with, I think it was Jack Reacher.
Oh, was that the second one or the first?
The first one.
First one. Okay. I've not seen the first one yet.
The first one's good.
I need to, or maybe I'm getting the two confused. The first one's the one with Robin from How I Met Your Mother,
That's
right?
the second one.
Oh, so I've seen the second one, not the first one.
The first one has Werner Herzog in it as a villain.
What? Okay. I need to watch
come on.
that then. And by the way, I don't know if you're being merciful on me, but you kind of distracted me away from talking about the Justice League and how shitty, because I would say that's a shitty movie, so everyone take a drink on that one.
Well, I will say with that, though, the thing that came out with the Mustache Gate this week was McQuarrie was asked about it, and he said it was brought up, and he offered to actually shut down production so that when he would go back to film it, they'd shut it down a little bit longer so we could regrow the mustache. He gave permission. And Paramount came in and they did the numbers, and they said it was going to cost, I think it was like $3 million or $5 million to shut down.
Oh, jeez.
And Query went to, because he had the people figure it out, he went to Warner Brothers and said, all right, will you pay us this if we shut down? Will you
Okay.
pay our shutdown costs? And Warner Brothers said, yes, we will pay your shutdown costs.
Right.
If you have him shave the mustache and wait. And Paramount apparently was like they took it to Paramount. And Paramount goes, what the fuck are you doing? No.
Like, why? Don't shut down for a freaking
No, we're
mustache.
not gonna shut down so Warner Brothers can have a better movie.
Which it didn't really help anyway.
Well,
but
no.
Anyway,
Well, I mean, the mustache
so
wasn't gonna help.
Let's take another drink
Yeah.
on that one. Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, so apparently that's the full background story now is that it was Paramount saying no.
Well, the thing that's really, I think, cool about Henry Cavill's... Oh, fuck. I'm also getting a little tipsy, too, so...
Nice.
This all is just built to just tumble down quickly. Henry, because
Yes.
we're such good pals, Henry C...
I call him Hank.
Hank, call him Hank. You're watching the movie, and the first thing you get is like, he's a bad guy vibe.
Oh yeah. Well, the previews
And-
kind of
and-
give that away.
Yes, that too. But then
to
as
be
it
honest.
keeps going on, well, but then it's also like, who's his handler? The girl at the CIA.
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett shows up, and you're like, oh, is she evil? Or is she evil and he's just doing her dirty work? So
And that's
he's
where it
just
kind of
following
comes in where you
orders?
don't know sometimes with the preview. It's like, is it the fact that Ethan's going to go rogue, so Henry's going to have to bring him in, and
Right.
Henry's actually a good guy
Right, just playing by the rules.
who's that's the jobbing
yeah.
in the movie. Like
Yeah.
he's not actually trying to go after Ethan's the bad guy.
Right, and then when they get to that point where there is the realization where, because I will say that's the thing that I like about the movie is that it does, at least for me, it kept me guessing because, well, you write all the time and I write all the time. Your writer brain is always kind
Oh,
of
yeah,
constantly going,
always.
so like you can suspend disbelief and enjoy the film, but you're constantly going, well, I would have him do this, or that's why he did this because he's the bad guy, or because he's the good guy and he's doing this. And so it constantly had me constantly changing gears to the point where when it was finally revealed what he is,
Yeah.
which is the bad guy.
Well, and what I like about that is,
oh,
and that's
okay.
where Henry has recently come out and said that this movie made him decide he wants to be James Bond.
He would be good.
And
James Bond.
everyone I know who
think
said
so.
he would be bad hasn't seen this movie.
Okay, have you seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Yeah, I love The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
It's a great
That's
movie.
probably one of my favorite movies that year.
It's a great movie, and I think he would be. I think he would be an interesting choice to play Bond, and I would like to see.
And here's the thing with him in this movie is he plays the role two different ways.
yeah,
And it is a nice change where it's like the whole first half of the movie when I'm watching it, I'm thinking, man, they're really like meatheading up Henry Cavill.
yeah,
It was like he was making dumb choices, and he was the Hammer for sure.
yeah.
I mean, he's like, when they go to jump out of the airplane.
Yeah, so there's a scene where they have to jump out of the airplane, and Ethan, being Ethan Hunt, is like telling him, like, this is what we need to do. And then they open the plane. He's just like, there's a gigantic storm. We're going to parachute down to Paris in a gigantic. Well, we're like above. It's not sea level. Is it sea level? No, it's not sea level. What is it? They're above the point where they have to wear oxygen masks.
Yeah, because they're
It's not just normal
Well, they're
parachute.
doing a halo jump, which is basically at the outer edge of the atmosphere.
Outer edge of the right. So they're wearing oxygen masks, and first off, he doesn't turn his oxygen on.
Yeah.
And he's just like, turn your oxygen on. I want you going dead on me on the drop down. He turns it on, and then he just goes, looks at the door opens and looks at it. He's just like, I think we should call this off. What if we get hit by lightning? It's the mission, Hunt. We gotta do the mission. Do the mission, because that's something that they're telling Ethan that we don't trust you because something always goes wrong, and you care more about your teammates, more about whatever. And of course, Henry jumps in during the storm, and Hunt goes after him.
And as soon as when Ethan doesn't want to, Henry
Yeah.
he sabotages Ethan's gear and jumps anyway.
Yes,
Which is again a dumb bonehead move until you realize no,
it was
Henry
meant-
Cavill had to be there because he was supposed to be the guy actually at the meeting,
right.
and he was using Ethan the whole time to get him into the meetings and keep his cover.
It could be the alcohol, but you're kind of blowing my mind right now.
See, and that's what I mean. Like that's what I mean. Like, he plays like all this meathead stuff for
Yeah.
the first half.
See, I need
and
to
you
watch
realize,
this again.
Realize the entire first half he's playing Ethan for Ethan to get him into all these places. Because they said, it's not Locke. It's I was going to call him John Locke because of Lost, but it's his character's name. Lark. John Lark.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I keep wanting to call him John Locke because of Lost, but it's John Lark.
Yeah.
So I'll drink to that one.
Cheers.
So the whole thing is, John Lark is supposed to meet the Contact, the White Widow, at this thing. Well, if Ethan doesn't go, Henry Cavill can't actually get there.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
So the whole thing is, this entire mission is essentially set up because Lark Henry Cavill's character has to be there as
I always
character.
took it that he was just watching Ethan and just going along with the punches.
Right. But you realize how much he's playing around. It's because, yes,
so
if Ethan didn't do what he did, Lark would never have been at the meeting.
Oh, man. Okay, so see, this is why this is awesome, because I was not thinking that during that movie. I was just like, he's either A, he's the bad guy and he's following him around to find out what Ethan's doing and then sabotage him later, or that's
the entire time he's using Ethan.
Well, that's what I like about the Mission Impossible series. They all are kind of like, they all have little hints of that, and there's the double cross, and there's sometimes the triple cross, and then you come back, and especially in this one. Oh, and also you mentioned Max's daughter.
Yeah.
Which was my favorite reference in the whole film, because they never reference, even the only thing they reference besides Simon Pegg's character, or the core characters, is they bring the wife back from Mission Impossible 3 occasionally.
Yeah. And they bring her back in all these like flashbacks, which I thought was just going to be like, it's the. I was like really hoping they weren't doing the cliche dead kid thing.
Oh yeah.
Like whenever you see a movie and it's like the person's having flashbacks to like their kid on the beach, it's like they're going to be motivated by their dead kid.
Oh, and who was the one kid from American? It's not American Pie. What is it? He's with the floating bag. He was her husband, her new husband.
Wes Bentley?
Wes Bentley.
Which was the only distracting thing to me, because he is so well known to have him in that small part. I'm like, wait, is he in on this shit too?
No, right. I was just like, oh no.
Is Hunger Games motherfucker going to do something? And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Games Master's going to fuck somebody.
But I also liked how she kind of helped too, which I thought was I felt like that was their way of kind of putting the pin in that.
Oh, that was great.
Which was
a
nice.
Great job of that.
And then they set up Rebecca Ferguson's Lissa.
Yeah.
Moving on to drink 2, people. This is not. I should really be careful. But yeah, I feel like that was their way of setting that up for more. And the only
definitely, I mean, they closed that section out really good. Now here's the fun thing.
Yeah.
That was pointed out to me. It is they did start filming without a full script again.
What?
But it's Macquarie. I mean, when you're the writer and the director, you can.
That's okay.
You can figure shit out. I mean, he did the same thing with Rogue Nation.
Isn't he Academy Award nominated?
I mean, he should be, because I don't know anybody that can do action as good as him between Rogue Nation and this one.
Didn't he do like Usual Suspects? Yeah, there you go.
So he, if you watch the scene with White Widow.
Yes.
I need to see this again next time, but it was pointed out to me that if you notice, everyone in the room is bobbing their heads as if they're listening to music, and they wonder if they ADR'd her statement, and then initially if she was singing to the room, and they changed it later. Because everybody in the room, when you see them, is kind of nodding their head a bit, and there is like a band back there and stuff.
There is.
And she's on stage with a singer's microphone.
So then the question is, was she always Max's daughter? Or did they just add that in?
Right.
Because they're like, Nick Argenbright's watching.
Yeah.
Henry was talking to me. He said Nick really likes that. We're going to put that in. And if that's the case, thank you, Henry.
It is. It is possible.
But
that's how they changed it up. And I know initially, one of the other things about this that I found out a couple days ago was they did have a part written for Jeremy Renner.
They did.
And he said no.
I thought it was the schedule that he was told
to
not do.
There's the shock, but you want to know why he said no? They were going to kill him.
Oh, yeah.
They were actually going to do the opening segment where Ving Rhames' character is shot and not killed.
Yeah.
Essentially. In the initial draft of the screenplay, Jeremy Renner's character, Brant, is killed.
That's some bullshit. No, yeah. Well, I'm glad that he's just not there.
Right. So, and he's killed, and that makes it a darker version for Ethan, and that apparently he does in the initial shooting draft before they made some changes, like as they were filming it, Ethan does take out a few innocent people to save the mission. And basically they said as they were making it, they discovered the thread of he is the guy who will save one, that views one person and a million people the same. And so they did some rewrites, and that's where they changed a couple of the scenes.
And I'm kind of glad they did that, though, because that was one of the more powerful moments, which is kind of true, because so one of the big points is that because Ethan always gets framed. It's kind of the reoccurring. Here's the thing. You go into a Mission Impossible movie, it's like, you're going to see Tom Cruise run. He's going to karate chop the air, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
You're going to see Simon Pegg be kind of Simon Peggy. You're going to see Ving Rhames sit in a van and not do anything, but talk and say, Ethan, you got to do this, Ethan. And then you're going to get to, again, it's all awesome. But there's going to be a backstabbing, a twist.
You're going to have a new head of IMF.
You're going to have a new head of Oh, actually, yeah, because wasn't the IMF head last time was Jeremy Renner's brand?
Technically there was nobody. Nobody. It ended with Alec Baldwin being the head.
Right.
Because he was in the CIA.
All right. Now,
who was trying to take down the IMF.
This is really the biggest spoiler. And I'm not even going to go into it, but Alec Baldwin gets to go on a mission and be a part of the mission, and it's really kind of badass. And I'm going to dance around it best I can. It's kind of cool and kind of bittersweet, but it's really rocking. And I don't know what they're going to do for the next one, how they're going to incorporate.
I mean, my guess is they'll probably bring Jeremy Renner in as the head of IMF.
I would hope that would be cool.
I mean,
that would be cool.
He was off on a side mission or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I went to the farmhouse with my family.
Yeah.
And I shot arrows all day.
Yeah, exactly. Drink to that one. Yeah, so I mean, it could bring him.
They could bring him back. And also, I did not recognize, and I had to rent the last movie. I didn't recognize that the one guy that they were breaking out was the bad guy from the last movie.
Because the beard.
Well, and he also he looked fucked up.
Yeah.
He looked pretty. I mean, torture does that to you, I guess.
but also, I feel like that's why this one succeeded in all the ways Spectre failed.
Oh yeah.
And this was such a light touch, and how it tied together the last three movies, and even the first couple, like with it being Max's daughter.
Oh yeah. So I like the first movie, and it's one of those things where when they never mention the first movie, because that's the nature of these films, they only pretty much do three, except for Ving Rhames, they mention three to the current. They never really reference the original. They don't reference Jim Phelps. Right. They don't do any of that. They don't reference Kittredge. Mm-hmm. And so when the one girl shows up, she's like, my mother Max passed away, and you are here for that. This is a party from my mom, funeral. And you're just like, Mission Impossible 1! Mission Impossible 1!
And they reference, and the Mission Impossible 1 ends with her basically saying, I think we can cut a deal.
Yes, which is pretty awesome.
To IMF.
And she's an arms dealer.
Yeah.
And that's what her daughter does.
Yep.
Which I was like, and I don't think this is, I think, I like, too, that they left her out in the wind.
Yeah.
To possibly come back, too, which I really like.
And that's one of those things that would be like, how cool would it be? And unfortunately, the characters that don't carry through all of them are the female characters.
Yeah.
Like, how cool would it be if they take all the female lead, like Maggie Q, what's her? I can't remember the girl from the fourth one, from Ghost Protocol. Sorry, Paula Patton, and like Rebecca Ferguson, and put together an all-female IMF team.
That would be rad. And you know what? If you want to have, but then it become Charlie's Angels a little bit. You could put Jeremy Renner over there.
Yeah, put Jeremy Renner in with them. He's the token guy.
And also, the last movie they established that Simon Pegg's character Benny wanted to go on.
He finally got to go in the field. He got to wear a mask.
And this time, yes, and that was really... But the ending with him, too, was kind of like, oh no, where are we going to lose a member of the IMF team? And that's...
Yeah, they kind of... They did the same thing with him that they did with Hawkeye in Age of Ultron, where there were so many hints that
because he kept saying, "It's like I have a bad feeling this is not going to go to my liking."
So many hints that Benji was going to bite the bullet.
I know, and then he almost did.
Then he doesn't, but someone else does.
But just know that it's really intense because he's being choked to death
Oh,
and
yeah.
it doesn't look like there's no way to get him out of that. And
But they keep dropping
Jesus.
that hint, and I was like,
That's true, because every time they ask him to do something, it's like, oh, Ethan's not going to go and do the impossible mission. We're going to send you in to do it. I don't have a good feeling about this. Can we not do this? Maybe send Ethan or anybody. Like, send Ving Rhames in.
Yeah.
I'll stay in the van. That's pretty, I mean, that's the...
Well, staying in the van didn't work out for him at the beginning.
It did not, no. So he's not in the van. He's near the van, but further away.
That's true.
But yeah. And did you hear the rumor, though, too? And not to keep bringing up the running thing, but like apparently the more he runs in the movie, the bigger the box office is.
Yeah, someone did the math of figuring out the distance.
Is it
Tom
just
Cruise
Mission Impossible,
runs.
though?
No, it's all the movies.
Okay.
They took out the only 3 movies he doesn't run in, which is like Vanilla Sky, Magnolia, and like I can't remember the third one. It was only maybe Interview with a Vampire. There we go.
I just watched that last night.
There's the 3 movies he does not run in.
That.
And they took
He rides a horse.
assuming distance over time, and his 6-minute mile based upon him sprinting as opposed to actually running for distance.
I love math.
The
I
amount
can't
of
do it
time
worth
that he
a
runs
shit, but-
per movie versus box office.
So beautiful. Now, wait a minute, though. Isn't that the last 20 minutes of The Firm just him running?
Yeah, well, I think that movie did well.
But that's a long movie, though, too. So, no, now that I'm thinking about this, like, yeah, he just runs the whole last part of the movie because he has to get to the place on time. It's the ticking clock, but it's just Tom Cruise running.
Well, speaking of which, you can definitely see that ankle break in this one.
Oh, yeah. So that's the other thing, too. And this is the thing that blows me away in the movie, is that this movie, more than any other action movie, and I feel like with all the superhero stuff, you see a lot of them, they're a lot more, like that when stuff gets hit because the dude does his own stunts. And like the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Kurt Russell, I can go, oh, that's half makeup, half CGI. I can tell that. You know what I mean? But this one, it's just like, I can't see where the CGI is at on Tom Cruise's face. I think that's really fucking Tom Cruise getting hit by a car going flying through the camera. Dear Jesus, it's terrifying. And so you're literally going, ooh.
It's actually him jumping between buildings. And you see him get up, and you see that ankle's not right.
Oh, no. Oh,
That
well,
ankle
that's the
is
thing. Yeah, he
not
keeps
right.
running, and you can see him just kind of like peg-legging it along there into the camera.
Man, can you imagine if they timed the Justice League reshoots at the same time? They would have had no mustache issues.
Mustache Gate would be no more.
Be no
if
more.
only we had a time machine.
Oh, yes, if only.
Yeah, if only. but that there's a lot of scenes that, like, the ending of the movie, there's a fight that takes place on a cliff.
Yes.
And again, it goes into Tom Cruise climbing like a Mission Impossible 2. That's the first thing that I thought of, at least. Was like, he's using old stunts now. His old abilities. Mission Impossible.
That's called an homage.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say it, but in my head I mispronounced it, so do I take a drink?
Sure.
I'll take a drink. But that whole scene is like, I was like, oh, this is such a ripoff of the opening of Mission Impossible. He's just reusing his own stunts. So, spoiler alert, a badass villain death.
Jesus, when I know, I was thinking that the whole time, like going, like, how are they going? Like, is he just going to fall? And that's not really
That's
cool.
lame. So not only does Henry, I'll take a drink. Not only does my boy Henry get battery acid in his face and burns
I think it's a
half
fuel.
of it
I think
off?
it's a fuel line.
Fuel
so
line.
I think it's
so
like hot fuel.
He's fighting Tom Cruise, and he's a better fighter. I mean, you've seen the trailer. He like locks and loads those guns.
And I
It's
will
a
say
thing
this:
right now.
I want to throw this out here for the other few people in the room. The fist cocking was improv.
Good for him. That was one of the best improvs ever in an action
Just saying.
movie. Because I just remember that's on Twitter still. Everyone just loves the gif of him going. You can't see me at home, but he's like, I'm also a little tipsy. Yeah, he recocks his arms, and you're like, what are you doing, bro? But like, he's locked and loaded.
The other moment that was
somebody.
improv, because apparently I know there's a couple of Henry's moments that were. The other was in the when they're about to jump out of the plane, and Tom goes, "Are we clear?" And he says, "Crystal."
Oh, that's a callback to the first movie.
A Few Good Men.
Oh,
Tom Cruise. Are we when he asks?
Oh, yeah. Are we? Yeah.
When he's talking to Jack Nicholson.
Because he has a very particular way of saying crystal.
Yeah.
I'm not even doing it right.
Yeah, so apparently that was
the next 15 minutes was just me trying to pronounce that drunk.
That's
very bad.
That apparently happened day of, and Macquarie was like, "I'll leave it in."
That's awesome. Doesn't he also say it to Kittredge, though, at one point, too? Like, when they're right before he blows up the fish tank?
He might. I'm not sure.
I don't know. That's but no. So not only does my boy Henry get just shit all over his face and it's burning. I mean, he's like beating the shit out of Ethan. When they get back to the side of the mountain, he gets a hook in the face and it just rips him off the cliff. And fucking brutal as shit. Helicopter.
A helicopter pulls him off a cliff by a hook to the face.
Yeah.
It's like that happened. I was like, oof.
Oh, I know. Like, yeah. And apparently Henry said in an interview, like, he's like, yeah, well, Tom's doing it. I guess I should do a lot of my own stunts too. And I was like, did you do that one? Oh, God. Like, I'm sure. I don't...
Considering he was being interviewed with a face, I'm thinking he did.
Well, okay, you know what I mean. Like, they probably did some green screen thing where they just wrapped around his neck or something and yanked him back. But, like, first off, you're putting a rope around your neck or
something.
I'm guessing. I don't
probably
really know.
Harness.
That's a harness. Well, Tom Cruise doesn't have a harness. Tom Cruise. I'm sorry. That was an overblown. The alcohol's really kicking in. Really good.
Nice.
So yeah, we got a few more minutes to talk about Mission Impossible. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add about Mission Impossible? I guess this will be the wrap up train of Mission Impossible.
No, I mean I really really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as much as I was expecting to enjoy it, which is one of those things that as soon as I saw the first preview, I was like, I'm so fucking in. It's like this is. I mean, I think I've got a GIF of Henry Cavill just like doing that fist cocking thing.
Do you really?
Just like watching my phone for like 4 minutes before I go into the gym just to get pumped up. Just let's do this.
Yeah, I like the song that was in the trailer. I think is it by Muse?
Imagine Dragons.
Magic Dragons.
Imagine Dragons.
I said that on purpose. I knew that was wrong.
Yes, Friction.
Yeah. And when you listen to it, it does sound like... the only thing is it was on the album, I think, before the trailer came out. So I think it was one of those... But yeah, because after I saw the movie, I was like, I just want to listen to something awesome.
Well, and again, that trailer's got a few shots that aren't in the movie, too.
They tend to nowadays,
I know they cut the entire thing of... There's like the helicopter going towards a truck on the road with a bunch of logs on it. Apparently, it's like they cut that entire scene. Like
it was jamming up the movie. I'm sorry, that was bad. You know what? I'll take a drink on that one. That was
bad. Only Nick drink on that one because that was
that's
painful.
a Nick drink on that one. Sorry,
punishment drink.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie a lot. Alcohol brain's really killing me right now. I mean, it's really doing a number of it.
So here's the thing: would you? So essentially, this movie has set up for a soft reboot.
It has in a way, yeah.
So would you want to see Macquarie continue because he's done the last two so well, or would you like to see?
Well, technically, wouldn't he be doing it anyway if they moved him off because it's Tom Cruise, and so you'd probably have him ghostwrite it?
Script doctoring for sure.
Well, right. Even though it's like, why do you have Brad Bird? Why do you need a script doctor? But potato.
Right.
Because he did Ghost Protocol.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. But yes, so I mean,
Protocol.
I guess it'd be interesting to see like, who. But I feel like this is one of those things where it's such a template for an action movie.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I know a screenwriter said once, like, every fight scene in an action movie needs to reveal something.
Yeah.
And this one definitely did.
Yeah.
Like a fight isn't just a fight is storytelling.
That's true. I'll go with. Actually, I feel like that. I feel like not all of them, but like most of the Mission Impossibles, they have, at least towards the end of it, one of the fights have something to do with what Ethan's dealing with emotionally, and that's what I think it's interesting. Well, the third one is purely that.
Yes.
Everything he does is for his wife. Ghost Protocol is kind of him having something to, at least my opinion of it, is him having to prove something with the team he's got now, on top of some other things, some of it tied to his wife still. And then the last one... Yeah, there's always something emotional for Ethan kind of tied into that, which is nice because if they would have kept doing what Tom Cruise planned to do initially, which is every movie's a different director, a different flavor, and probably no continuity, I feel it wouldn't be where we wouldn't be 20 years later still talking about Mission Impossible.
Well, and they did the continuity in a way that it didn't feel retconned like Spectre.
Oh.
Which was the biggest thing.
I fell asleep during that movie. That movie was such shit.
The opening sequence in Spectre is perfect. But after that, it's got some issues.
Sorry, the alcohol, I have no inhibition at that point. Fuck that movie. Spectre. I don't fall asleep during movies. I fell asleep during that one. It was so goddamn boring. It was I'm looking at the audience because like I'm looking for justification on how shitty that movie was.
I feel like you need a drink on that one, Nick.
Okay, Christopher Waltz is thank you. Christopher Waltz is in that movie. How can you have a bad movie about Christopher Waltz as the villain? Like, Green Hornet is not a great movie, but it's fucking entertaining because Christopher Waltz is the bad guy. You made me get bored during a Christopher Waltz villain movie.
I mean, I'm
makes
just gonna.
No fucking sense. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna feel the room out on this one by show of hands. Does that count as like the George Lucas rant? Should he finish his drink? Is that like similar?
Well, you know what? Let me just keep going on this one then before I tap it off.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz. There you go. All right. Here we go.
We did it, people. So I guess
I am out of a drink though, and that's a problem because I'm going to need more. I'm going to fuck up something.
The two last things I'll say about the movie is, as it goes with the soft reboot, it does give us the awesome point that we now know there is this entire organization of apostles still out there.
Yes.
So there's so much they can do, and even the fact that I would love them to be like, give Rebecca Ferguson a Netflix series where she gets to hunt down the apostles, which as a tie-in would be
IMF would be
it'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah. Well,
it should be MI6 at that point.
I'll also say too, Christopher. I have no drink.
And the other thing I'll say is when she blows away fake John Lark, that is a shit ton of blood.
That is.
I don't know what she shot him with and how much, if he's like a half mosquito.
Yeah.
But there was so much blood over that bathroom.
Delayed response on your mosquito joke. No, I also, and this is to go back to Macquarie a little bit, but there's a scene where Ethan meets with Ferguson's character.
Ilsa.
I don't have a drink, so I'm good right now. Elsa, they meet in that.
He just went to Frozen.
I did. They went to that tree area.
Yeah.
It's beautifully shot.
Oh, God, yeah.
Feels very spy-ish anyway. And they have that really kind of a spy-like conversation where they say nothing and everything at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is good acting on both their parts because I feel like Tom Cruise doesn't really act too much anymore. He just does what he does in the mission. He does Ethan Hunt, and that's pretty much it. But
although American Made was fantastic.
Was it? I've not seen that yet. I want to see that.
I recommend that one for sure.
It was one of the sad things when watching an interview with the vampire last night. I was just like, I remember when Tom Cruise used to kind of act in movies. He would still be Tom Cruise a little bit in them, but he would still act.
No.
So
they still had to have shit for him
he's
to step
still
on.
acting like Tom Cruise, and then, or he's not acting like Tom Cruise. He's acting like Lestat, and then at the very end of the movie where he takes Christian Slater, he becomes. I feel like that's
Christoph Slater, I think.
Christoph Slater. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Interview with the Vampire. Yeah, but you're just like Jesus. That's. I feel like that's Tom Cruise because he's playing. First off, in the last scene, a year ago, we didn't see him know anything about fucking lights or whatever. I'm sorry. Interview with the Vampire. Because Lewis visits him. This is very fresh for me because I saw it last night. He visits him at Lestat, and Lestat is afraid of any type of modern day lights. And so he's like, the lights won't hurt you. This is not sunlight. Kind of grow the fuck up and grow some balls. And Lestat's like, oh, I'm scared.
I feel like Nick's at 8 drinks once we get him another one.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah. If we get another one, which I sadly don't think will happen right now. But
we'll have it.
So next time,
might be off air, but you're going to have it.
I will make up for the ones I've missed.
The tab shall be paid.
All right. So overall, Mission Impossible, good. Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So a few weeks ago, Corey Taylor, I think is the guy who started it. He tweeted, if you had to cast a movie, keep one cast member in the original movie. So, for example, Mission Impossible, maybe we would not keep Ethan. Yeah, I need another draft, please.
Same here, please.
Yep. You might want to give two.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Just the sound effects of it walking away. Sorry.
Nick has drunk hair now, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Became very self-aware for 1 second. I don't have a lot of it left. Push it down.
It's still just an audio podcast, Nick.
I know. But we have an audience, so I'm now very aware. Anyway, which is weird. Now's the point where I'm hyper-aware.
You're still pretty.
Thank you so much. I have a very nice dress on and everything. No, but The thing was like, so Mission Impossible, you would keep maybe Ving Rhames, but you'd recast like all the other characters with Muppet versions of them.
Man.
Or you would do...
You keep the one... Yeah, it's true. Because a Muppet Ving Rhames would just be in a van, and that'd be a waste.
Okay, so maybe Kittredge?
I agree with that. Keep Ving Rhames.
Keep Ving Rhames because he's only in the van.
Because he's only in a van. You just keep cutting to him in a van, like watching
So
the Muppet
Kermit
action.
would probably be Tom Cruise's character. Because you would probably put him in the lead, kind of, but that would be the... And so... I thought that was a really good thing, so I posted it on my Facebook, and everybody chimed in. You chimed in with The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Last Jedi, keep Rose, just to piss off all the fucking alt-right haters.
Because that's part of a very toxic fandom. A lot of people hate Rose, which I don't really get. And who did you pick for Kylo from the Muppets?
I can't remember, because you asked me specifically Poe. You asked me who Gonzo would be.
Well,
and I said Gonzo would be Poe because his chicken would be BB-8.
Okay, because see, in my mind, I think it would be funnier if he was Kylo Ren, just going, let the past die. Just watching him trying to even because then he'd have the mask for a little bit, try to fall down in front of him, and also he has that weird thing where his eyes kind of go bulge back up and down.
Although Sam the Eagle having a meltdown would be kind of funny.
Well, I would. So no, that would be good. I viewed him a little bit as Snoke.
Yeah.
Snoke.
But that's why I felt like him as Kylo, because it's just him having a meltdown.
Much.
Play a little against type. It's fun. Nick's catching up on his drinks.
I'm caught up. Thank you so much, by the way. So we're going to kind of go through some of these, and we'll take suggestions from you guys on things that we can kind of... Oh, that's goofs, not quotes. So, for example, one of the quotes Snoke says is, "You are no Vader, you are just a child in a mask." You are no Vader. You are just a child in a mask. That would be a very Sam the Eagle kind of vibe. Or do you think he would be a better Kylo?
See, I don't know. I think it'd just be fun to have someone who takes themselves so seriously have a meltdown, which is why.
But what would his meltdown be? Would he just have because Kylo has a fucking meltdown?
Oh yeah.
Sam, I feel kind of just you would have to Muppetize it up a little bit. But
you would have to for sure.
Who would be Luke?
It's good. Gosh, I don't know.
Would that be Kermit?
Who would be Luke from the Muppets? I like it. I think John
Yoda is technically a Muppet, played by Frank Oz.
Yeah.
He's part of the original repertoire.
Yoda as Luke.
I love it. I like that.
I can't
strike
beat
me
that.
down in anger, and I will always be with you. Just like your father.
So that would be good. So who would be Rey? Would that be Miss Piggy? I feel like
Probably, yeah.
Miss. Okay, I'm not even going to dare try her.
That's fair.
So then you got so we have Kylo.
Well, and now here's the question on this: Can we branch out into Sesame Street Muppets?
Yes, I fully agree with that because
Perfect.
Again earlier I think at the beginning of the podcast I said Grover would probably make a really interesting Ethan Hunt.
Okay, yeah.
Red light, green light.
I think
It's worse now than it was then.
I think like Snuffleupagus as
Snuffleupagus? Okay, no, as who?
as Benji,
As
because
Benji?
he's always complaining about how he's going to get killed.
Oh, this
God.
is always a bad idea.
Yep.
I feel like this is not gonna go my way.
See, that's what I'm saying.
You're
It's
right.
good.
And then if
I mean, Oscar the Grouch is Ving Rhames because he never leaves the van.
he never leaves, he's always kind of grumpy.
Right? Yeah. He's always like, "Ugh." I don't
Yeah.
do voices, so
And then
you're looking at.
he there's the little worm that he has. Does anyone know the worm that Oscar the Grouch has? Mimey? Slime. All right, first off, I've got to take a drink on that. Mimey's a different program. That's the Spain version. I remember. I love that little character. He would always show up all the time, and it's the only friend really Oscar gives a shit about. Really.
I still say the one that I would love to do would have been Big Trouble in Little China, or even the other one would be The Thing. Keep Kurt Russell and have everyone else be Muppets in The Thing.
Okay, yeah. I like that.
Muppet Wilford Brimley just going insane.
Okay, now who would you have the Muppet? I would have that be Ralph. Rolf.
Yeah, no, that's a good
Rolf.
one. That's a good one.
I'm not a Heifetz, but I get by.
With a mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with a fake
Can
mustache.
he play a piano, though? Because that's what Rolf does?
Yeah.
Before he turns into a weird... We're doing good so far.
Yeah.
So, is there any particular quotes you wanted to try doing from The Last Jedi before we move on to
I
another
don't
one
do
I have?
Muppet voices, so I'm good.
Well, you can. But here's the great thing: is you can do Quint or the normal character, the actor that we keep. You can do him. I have printout.
Oh,
So
for
one of the
sure. Oh,
suggestions
yeah, I
I
can do that
was,
one for sure,
I don't
yeah.
know who suggested it, but someone suggested it might have been one of the Wheeler brothers from
I feel like
Cinema
I might
Real
have
Estate,
suggested
or was
this
it you?
one. I might have suggested
Jaws.
this one,
So I
actually.
apologize. It was if it was you. It was Jaws, and we keep Robert Shaw as Quint.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good.
So I'm guessing, who do you have for Dreyfus?
Well, this is where you guys, the Einstein
Nice.
Men, we're going to mimic your very wonderful suggestions. Poorly. That's a key word, poorly. So obviously, the first one would be, and I know you don't do voices, but you're gonna suffer.
No, that's
through
fine.
this. I think this is one of them. Or no, turn the page over. I think. It's so we have two scenes from Jaws. This is how prepared I am. We were supposed to do Last Jedi and this one, and I only had Jaws, so I apologize. So one of them is the scene where the mayor and Chief Brody are talking about finding Chrissy Tompkins and I think the Kittredge boy. And they're talking about closing down the beaches, and it's that really great scene where they're on the ferry, and Spielberg does that awesome one shot where the camera never moves, but the ferry is moving. It's pretty. I'm also a Spielberg fan, so I apologize.
Yeah, apologize for being a fan of a great director.
I know, but a lot of people don't like his newer stuff. So anyway. Well, apparently people shit on him at film schools now, or they have for the past 20 years. It's like, oh, you're a Spielberg fan. Ugh.
Oh yeah, it's because it's cool.
Thank you. I feel so much better. I meant that sincerely. I know it came off like an asshole. Thank you. I
need another drink, so I'm going to throw this one in Nick's fucking face. So my wife we watch a lot of Real Housewives, so I'm used to just the drink.
No, you're good. So we have Chief Brody. Who should Chief Brody be? Kermit. Okay. I was thinking similar. So we'll call him Kermit, Chief Kermit Brody. Well, that will be. Who should Mayor Vaughn be? Fozzie Bear.
Yeah, I feel like that one's right on.
All right. So we're writing this down so we can. So Kermit is Brody. Vaughn, the mayor, is Waka Waka Fuzzy. I wrote down Waka. Fozzie. All right. There's like the chief examiner, and then there's a character called Meadows. Who should they be? Okay, Gonzo. Can I throw out Pepe? The pawn. Does anyone have any objections to that?
It's Prawn.
Prawn. Oh.
Pawn is something that is a reality show that Dad.
By the way, he's
son
a
killed
king
each other.
prawn.
Yeah.
As he would be quick to remind. Okay. All right, so, sorry, I forgot, what was the other suggestion? Gonzo. Alcohol is great for your brain. We'll make Pepe the...
I almost died eating a salad today, so alcohol.
How did you die eating a salad?
It was shredded asparagus, and I choked on it.
Fair enough.
It's actually true. I had to throw up to get it out of my throat. It's great.
It kind of bummed out at the end a little bit.
Yeah, that's what happens
I
when
almost
your
died.
wife
It was
makes
great.
food and puts it
All right,
in
so
the
we'll have the
refrigerator.
chief examiner be Pepe,
Yeah.
and then we'll have Gonzo as Meadows. All right, I know you can't do voices, but what do you want? Anything you want to try?
I'll fuck up whatever you want me to.
All right, I'll do. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. There's lots of drunkenness going on.
Fonzie
here.
is basically a Catskills comedian, so
Waka Waka. Yeah. So, you think you can do Kermit?
I don't know. Probably not.
All right. Well,
That's the best I can do.
that'll be fine. All right, and then, or do you have a preference?
I know, I'll do that.
All right, so
I'll do Kermit.
you do Kermit, and then can you think you can do Pepe?
Let's Pepe.
Pepe sounds like this, okay? He just adds okay
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the end
yeah,
of
sure,
it.
it's-
Yeah. All right.
Racially perfectly fine.
Yeah, this is totally not at all offensive in any way. All right, so the first scene is Chief Brody, Mayor Vaughn, Meadows, and the chief examiner talking on the ferry as they're going. And I'll do Gonzo too. Sorry, I didn't add that. So go for it, Kermit.
Charlie, take me out to those kids, will you?
Kermit, you're going to shut down the beaches on your own authority?
What other authority do I need?
Well, technically, you need a civic ordinance or a resolution by a board of selectives of chickens.
Oh, yeah, I have the next line too.
That was just going by the book. We're really a little anxious that you're rushing into something serious here, Kermit. It's your first summer, you know.
What does that mean, Fonzie?
I'm only trying to say that Amity is a summer town. We need summer dollars. If the people can't swim here, they'll be glad to swim at the beaches of Cape Cod, Hampton, Long Island.
That doesn't mean we have to serve it up as a smorgasbord.
But we never had that kind of trouble in these water, right, girls? Yes.
What else could have done that to that tadpole?
Where are we at?
Boat propeller, waka waka waka.
That's the most awkward waka waka. I'm sorry.
The funniest thing, actually, in this town is when someone dies, so it's...
That is kind of, yeah.
Well, I think possibly, yes, a boating accident, a boat. That's not what you told me over the phone.
Oh,
I was wrong. We have to amend our reports. Understand by that? Hey, I can't really stand. I'm a little prawn, but okay.
Martin, a summer girl goes swimming, swims out a little far. She tires. A fishing boat comes along. Wow.
It happened before.
I don't. Oh, well, whoa. I'm sorry, people, drunk brain.
I don't think you appreciate the gut reaction people have to these things.
Fonzie, I appreciate it. I'm just reacting to what I was told.
Martin, it's all Kermit. It's all psychological. You yell barracuda, everybody says, "Huh? What?" You yell shark, and we gotta panic our hands on the 4th of July. Okay, you can take us back now.
Barracuda eat me pretty good.
All right, and so the last one we have, so we're going to keep Kermit as Chief Martin Brody.
Sure.
So now we need a Hooper, who's not been the previous... Animal? Ooh. All right, who? Skeeter? Which one's Skeeter? I feel so bad.
I can maybe do animal.
Animal?
I can maybe do animal.
Right.
You can do Quint.
Okay, yeah, I can do... Okay, I can do
Try
Quint.
that.
All right, yeah, let's do it. All right, all right, so Hooper, who was originally played by Richard Dreyfuss, is going to be Animal, played by Erik, and you're going to do Kermit too?
I mean, I guess, unless you want to take over.
I'll take over Kermit.
And I'll do Quint. So this will be Kermit probably sounding like Kermit.
Won't be that good, but yeah. All right.
Mr. Quint! You're gonna need an extra hand!
This is Animal Hooper.
I know who he is.
I've created 3 transplants. Transplants.
No. He's from the Oceanographer Institute.
Yeah. And then American Sculpture! I need more!
Mr. Hooper, Mr. Animal, I'm not talking about pleasure boating or daily sailing. I'm talking about working for a living. I'm talking about sharking.
Well, I'm not talking about having some fun with your animals. I'm talking about finding a great way.
It's all you again.
Porkers, talking about porkers. Mr. Hooper, just tie me a sheep shank.
I haven't had the past basic sequence in a long time. Animal didn't say how short you want it yet. How's that?
Give me your hands.
Still you again.
Fish. When you give me a $5,000 net, you got $2,000 worth of fishermen. And along comes Mr. Whitey. By the time he's finished up with that net, it looks like a kitty scissors class has cut it up for a paper doll. You got city hands, Mr. Hooper. You've been counting money all your life.
All right. Hey, I don't need this. I don't need this working class hero quip anymore!
Okay. Okay. You ain't gonna do this aboard the ship, are you, Mr. Quentin?
Maybe I should go alone.
Well, it's my party, my charter.
Yeah, it's your charter. It's your party. It's my vessel. You're on board my vessel, mate and master pilot, and I'm captain. Take him for ballast, chief.
You got him.
All right, and scene, and that's the.
I think I crushed it.
No, yeah, you crushed it. I did good. You did good yourself. That was
I don't
good.
do voices.
That was really good. So that's how we would do Jaws. I think that would be accurate.
What Muppet would play the shark?
Oh, what's the one? It's in the newer movies. He like eats everything. He's like huge, and I don't know the name of the character. He's like, "Hello, was it?" It's not. Sweetum's one of the original guys. This is like thinking since Muppets Tonight forward. He's done by the voice guy who does the puppeteer who does Pepe the Prawn. I'm sorry, it doesn't really help anybody.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I just know that Sweetums is a full standing Muppet character. This is the normal puppet, but he's a rather huge one, and like pretty much. The Muppet mouth will grab the puppet and swallow it whole. Hello, hey, that's not doing anyone anything.
Well,
Sorry.
Google that, listeners
so,
at home.
on that note, I want to finish my drink, and this is the end of the Good, the Bad, and the Geeky.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you
for having
guys
me.
for bearing with me while I did that. And for more, go to gbgpodcast.com, where you can play the drinking game at home. And and up next, I think we have a sneak preview from Lost in Time. Yes? Yeah, so thank you all for coming out. West Grandview Fringe Festival. Woo!
Get out of here without cheese! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you showed up, cheapers! Go have some coffee with cream or something! Because I'll tell you something! This is a happy place!